Oligopoly. All right, a couple of things in terms of background on oligopolies. All right, there are few firms in the industry. A little bit more than, say, a monopoly, but definitely not as many as like in monopolistic competition. All right. Some things about oligopoly. Number one, there is, so we have the few firms, we also have high barriers to entry. Same reasons that we have for monopolies. High economies of scale, tough to break into the industry. Then we have there's a couple of different key terms. For oligopoly, you need to know mutual interdependence. Mutual interdependence means that firms are dependent on the decisions of other firms in the industry. So you're not like just making decisions in a vacuum. One firm makes a decision, you have to respond in some way to that decision. There's also the idea of collusion. And that is where a group works together to set a price. Technically illegal, at least in the United States. All right, and a cartel is a version, like a systematized version of collusion. Cartel is just a group of firms or nations that work together to control price. The classic example of this is OPEC. Did you say drug dealers? Yeah, drug dealers too. If you play Grand Theft Auto, you'll be fighting against the cartel, but from an economics perspective, we're talking about OPEC, all right? So, we don't need to know any graphs for oligopoly, but we do need to know how to do game theory questions. So, I'm going to do a quick game theory chart, and then we will go over how it works. So we've got uptown, we've got rare air.
Wow.
Are you making this up on the spot? Or?
Techno.
Okay.
High, low, high, low.
Mr. Southwick,
Yeah.
collusion is illegal?
What?
Is collusion illegal?
Collusion is illegal, yeah. All right, so basically, when we are looking at a game theory matrix, what we're looking at is we're comparing two companies. One is on top, one is on the side. And we're comparing if they use one strategy and the other firm uses a different strategy, how will that impact their profits? So these numbers represent their profits, all right? High means that Uptown goes with a high price strategy, low means they're going with a low price strategy. Same for error, high versus low. And when you're doing this, to me the easiest way to do it, because sometimes they put little boxes, sometimes they have like slanted lines. There's different ways that they set up the matrix, but it's easiest if you just remember which numbers you're looking at, all right? So to me, I go with LLC and TRR. LLC stands for left column. When you are looking at the company on the left, then you are going to be looking at the numbers in the left of the box, and you're going to look at them in terms of columns, the up, down. All right? If you're looking at the company that's on top, you're going to be looking at the numbers that are on the right of the matrix, and you're going to look at them in terms of rows.
You decide.
All right, so if we're looking at rare air, we're looking at the numbers that are on the right, but we're going to compare them in row. If we're looking at the number, or we're looking at the company on the left, we're going to look at the numbers on the left, and we're going to compare them in columns. LLCTRR. You can also, like, if you're more comfortable drawing little lines and like breaking the boxes down, you can do whatever you want. I just find it always works this way, so you could use the number. I like to use it that way. All right, so since we are doing left column, we're going to do the left ones first. We're looking in the column and we're going to choose between the two numbers on the left, and we're going to choose the highest one. 15 is higher than 12. Left numbers in the column, 8 is higher than 6. All right, so Uptown actually has a dominant strategy. Dominant strategy means they will do one thing no matter what. That means they always choose a strategy. And in this case, Uptown's dominant strategy is low price. Okay? Now we're going to do top right row. So we're looking at rare air's numbers. We're looking at the numbers in the right and we're going by row. 12 and 15, they would choose 15. All right? 6 and 8, they would choose 8. Do they have a dominant strategy?
Yes.
What is it?
Low.
Low. Uptown, rare air also uses low as their dominant strategy. One last piece. There are sometimes in these matrices a box that allows a firm, or allows two firms not to cheat. All right? And that strategy is called the Nash equilibrium. The Nash equilibrium means that no matter what, these firms would not deviate from that decision. Nash equilibrium, basically, if both numbers in a box are circled, then you have no incentive to cheat. Is there any box that would fulfill that on this one? Yeah, so in this case, the Nash equilibrium is low, low. Both firms would choose to choose a low price strategy. And the reason why is because if they tried to cheat, or if like one firm, if they both said, hey, let's get 12, we'll both be better off at 12, all right? Then each of those firms would have an incentive to switch strategy and make even more and go up to 15 at the cost of their partner falling to 6. Neither one of them would cheat here though, all right? Because there is no way, if you switch strategies, you're gonna make less, all right? So there's no incentive to cheat. Both those are circled, and that's gonna be it for them. That's their Nash equilibrium. That's where they're gonna operate, okay? All right, because of the time, I am going to try and do monopolistic competition real quick. That's the shortest of the graphs we have, stuff we have left. So I'll try to get that done before we take off. So monopolistic competition. All right, that is a large number of firms, all right, that are mostly similar. There's low barriers to entry, but there are some barriers. You can't just open a pizza place today, all right? Unlike you could start an apple farm today if you wanted to, all right? And then firms can earn a profit if they differentiate. There are literally hundreds of pizza places in the Detroit area. All right, but if one place stands out as way better than all the rest, then that firm could make a profit while the other ones are operating at. So firms can make a profit, but most firms break even. Draw the graph over here.
So why doesn't MR fall below?
Why did MR fall below?
Not fall below, like, you know, in,
It eventually would, but they're closer together for this one because it's a little more efficient than a monopoly.
okay.
Here's where it's the pain. Okay. So this graph actually looks pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with the way that one turned out. So a monopolistically competitive firm operates at break even. That means that price is equal to ATC. It does not mean that price is equal to minimum ATC though. Minimum ATC, well, should be like right here, I'm sorry. Minimum ATC is right there where marginal cost intersects ATC. All right, so there's just a little bit of extra production that we could squeeze out if we were actually being efficient. And so this space is called excess capacity. If they were efficient, they could produce that much, but they're not. All right, there's a little bit of inefficiency. And if we zoomed in on there, we would actually see that the ATC curve comes in like this, demand comes in like this, and there's this little tiny triangle of basically deadweight loss. If you are one of the firms that were making a profit in this industry, then your ATC curve would be down there. And you would have a profit doing that right? Here's ATC. Yeah. You would have a profit in that size. All right, guys, you can go ahead and shut that off.